Hello, Philadelphia! I'm Bruce Buffer. It's time for the Anthony Gorgano Show!
Champs! Champs! Super Bowl champs! In the most dominating performance of any big game in Philadelphia history. Last night, we bore witness to an utter destruction, an utter domination of a dynasty. Talk about hitting a dynasty with a sledgehammer. That was last night. Everybody, man, I know you're smiling ear to ear because that's what we do in Philadelphia. We celebrate this sort of thing like no other. And this great, great run by this team that depicts your heart, your soul, your will, everything about this team, that coach, they all depict Philadelphia, who we are as a family, as a city. And watching that green and white confetti fall last night, the Superdome, is exactly that exalted feeling. It is something of just pure beauty. It's rapture is what it is. And I want everybody to enjoy it in the most way. This week will be a week of great fun that we'll have the parade on Friday, and we have celebrated all evening. We'll continue to celebrate all week long, all season long. We know what sports means to Philadelphia, right? We understand what this memory is. They are now, we went to 3 Super Bowls in 8 years and now 2 rings. After all these years of first, you got no rings. Second, you got 1 ring. What is Philadelphia football? Bunch of losers. Not anymore. Not anymore. We are the toast of the division, the toast of football. I mean, you think about what happened in 2018, and this was sweet as, I don't know, to me it felt as sweet. I mean, I felt the same chills. I felt the same weepy tears came, tears of joy, like Sirianni talked about. I mean, it was just utterly beautiful. My God, what an evening. What a game. They just completely dominated the Chiefs in every which way. It was such an Eagle party. From the predominantly Eagle fans in the stands, 10-1 on Bourbon Street, the Chiefs with all their fanfare. And how about how it looked like they were going to get the call early on in the game with that weak OPI on AJ. And then you were like, oh my God, what is that about? It didn't matter because you know why? Defense, great, tough football. Jalen Hurts, the journey that Jalen was on. But that defense was one of this is in many ways a dream football team for Philadelphia. Like, this is our type of team. A team that suffocates its opponent. A team that dominates its opponent. And you saw Patrick Mahomes is doing whirling dervishes. He's got no prayer, no answer. I looked at Andy on the sidelines, and Andy Reid had that look of frustration. He had that look of, I don't know what to do because they're overwhelming our offensive line. And you saw it. Jalen Carter, and look, Jalen Hurts deserved it. Deserved the MVP every which way, right? I mean, played terrific, the whole thing. Emotional leader, quarterback. But, man, Jalen Carter, wow. Everything revolved around him. It started with him. It goes to Zach Bond, and then it goes to Cooper DeJean. First interception, pick six. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Zach Bond with an incredible interception of a lifetime. But it all started with the big kid up front. Man, beast mode, Jalen Carter, unstoppable, game wrecker. They 2-3 guys. Everybody else ate because of him. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I was talking to Zach. We were texting. Zach is an MVP voter. And I'm like, dude, Carter embodied the defense. They dominated that team. The Chiefs couldn't do anything offensively all game up until garbage time. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. That, to me, was as dominant a defensive performance as the 85 Bears. That was that kind of a performance. The 85 Bears in the Super Bowl, they just steamrolled teams, right? They were dominant. It was Buddy Ryan. You know, it was this lure of a defense. This Eagle defense was as dominant, if not more dominant. They did it not against Tony Eason and the Patriots. They did it against Patrick Mahomes. All right? Kelsey, Andy Reid, they completely dominated them. Oh, my God. It was just beautiful. And then everything, right? From Sirianni to Howie and Saquon. And look, Spags, we're not going to let Saquon beat you. But that's the beauty of how this team was built. They were able to shut down Saquon, but you can't shut down everybody. And there was enough big plays that went around. AJ, how about Slim Reaper getting his on a big bomb? Jalen played terrific, took point guard, man. Right? You needed it. You needed in the run. You needed him to run. He ran. You needed him to go to Dotson down the sidelines. He goes to Dotson down the sidelines. It was just such a great, utter team game, like a team victory. What a team they are. They represent us, embody us in so many ways. They embody Philadelphia. And I'm so happy that you guys got to enjoy this with your friends and family. And, you know, this is what we do. Sports is religion in Philadelphia. It's our way to gather. It's part of our culture. It's deep-rooted in our culture. And embrace every second of this. Go get your championship gear. We'll see you at the parade. I'll tell you where we're going to be at on Friday. We'll hug and kiss and do shots Friday at the parade. We'll get it all going, man, because this is what we do. We put so much, we're so bottled up. We put so much work and angst into following these teams and to trying to be a part of it. And when something like this happens, it's like the cork gets just popped off. Let's go! Champs! 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 Now, I got to bring my man on because I got to give him his due. He said it all week long. He said, it's going to be a rout. I'm telling you, it's going to be a rout. My boy VG, you called it, brother. Rout.
Paper chance. Dude, that is the greatest sports night of my life. Andy Reid, fraud. Mahomes, fraud. They're done. That dynasty is done, dude. The Bears played perfect. Spags did what nobody could do. He stopped Saquon, and they had nothing else, man. Jalen played out of his mind. He was throwing dimes everywhere. And the D-line,
wow.
Just dude, they're better. You hit on it because I was going to say they're better than the Bears because the Patriots stunk. This is an all-time dynasty team, and they put up 20. They had more penalty yards in the first half than total yards.
Dude, they killed
23 yards in the first half.
They completely annihilated a dynasty. Like
Embarrassed them.
Like here's the thing.
Like they beat the Patriots. That was a great game. They embarrassed the Chiefs last night.
Yeah, and let's not get it twisted too. Patrick Mahomes is a great player. All right, he's a great player.
Sure,
he's a great player.
Playing against that slop in the AFC, he's a great player.
No, all kidding aside, like seriously,
yeah,
because here's the thing, I don't want what the Eagles did to be cheapened, right? Like that is a great team. That is a dynasty team. And the Eagles dominated them. And they dominated them because they controlled the line of scrimmage, dude. They dominate the line of scrimmage. He had nowhere to go.
With a 4-man rush.
He had nowhere to go. And it was Carter. Jalen Carter is out of his mind. Because when you look at how they had to double and sometimes triple him, and that opens up everything. They had no answers.
Nothing. J-Lix had a nice game. Sweat came to play.
They all did.
Yeah.
Sweat was great because obviously, had sacks, but he was fantastic because he played with, he didn't overrun pass rush. Every once in a while he could overrun the pass rush. He could be before he was undisciplined. He was great. But it all starts with the big kid. All starts with Carter because everybody else is singled up or freed up to eat.
Dude, Mahomes had happy feet from like the second series in. He knew he was in
he looked like he was in a bull ring.
Hey, Kelsey looked spent. They looked who said they looked drained? Sealski?
Yes.
Maybe. I mean, they just looked like they were outclassed last night.
Yeah, they were outclassed. But Mahomes looked like he was in the middle of a bull ring without a sword. Like
it's weird how that pressure really brings some quarterbacks down to earth.
I mean, he was like in a field of rhinos.
Yeah, and it's a fascinating thing because it's not like he can go to the line and see the blitz and adjust because there was no blitz. It's just straight up man versus man, and they just they're dominated.
No, it was. I mean, it was amazing. Was they didn't have to blitz. No. I did love Vic because Vic had dialed up a blitz toward the end of the game. Right, it was awesome. Right, there was a couple times where I thought Mahomes was going to get Maximus in the middle of the Super Bowl.
Dude, and I love the Jalen giving him his shot after the strip. Oh, dude, because if you're going to get the flags anyway, make them pay for it a little bit. Rub them up a little bit.
Well, he didn't get the flag because of that. It was a celebration penalty.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Otherwise, they would have had the ball. Yeah, he annihilated. Somebody said Jalen Carter murdered Patrick Mahomes.
Dude, his body looked weird because the strip came and he kind of bent and Carter's just manhandle him in the head.
I mean, it was outrageous. I mean, it was just I've never seen a domination like that. Like it was a physical ass whooping.
What? How? Andy had no adjustments. What was going on?
It was nuts. Well, I don't.
How's he not helping with protection? Nothing. He had no adjustments.
Dude, this is what it is. You can't scheme against that. It's not about. You can have all the guys in the world stay in, max protect, all you want. When the pressure is coming up the middle like that, that's not about. You can't ship from the interior part of the line. You can't do it. That was the game. Like the fact that they were able to get that kind of pressure early. That's why Carter, to me, was
you're lobbying
the MVP. He was
for the vote.
He was. He was the MVP. I've never seen a tackle dominate the way he's dominated this year. Like we talk about Dominican Sue and Aaron Donald and all this stuff. Dude, this kid's better. This kid, I'm serious.
I don't remember in the second year in.
You don't even see half the stuff on tape, right? Like, who's watching that? This stuff that he does, he is such a game wrecker. He's unbelievable. He never comes off the field.
Dude, it was just Fangio just.
Oh,
Dude.
I mean,
And the
Fangio.
secondary, the youngsters, everybody came. It was just.
Dude, how about Cooper? Because remember, that's a big play. It's early in the game.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
That was it. That was a huge. People, you know what's nuts? Is you were like, oh my God, you never see Mahomes throw picks like that.
No.
Never see that. Like, the one thing he never does is like just completely.
They were his first turnovers of the playoffs.
I mean, he looked so scared back there, and everything was just off. Everything. You know, he was getting hit. He was getting flustered.
Props to Birds fans. Taylor Swift heard it. The turncoat.
Boo, yeah.
She know how to handle that.
Boo. Thank
Don't
God.
blink with Eagle fans, baby.
Yeah, hopefully.
You left us.
I gave through a lot of shrapnel. Jake Elliott, he came out last, so he was good.
Oh, down the seam every time, man.
Yeah.
And all those calls, those penalties, he was getting pushed back, and he was still making it, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
But let's go back to the defense.
What a birthday gift
All right,
for
let's
Cooper.
let's go back to the defense, man, because to a man, they need to be lauded. Every one of them. Oh my God, Zach Bourne, dude. Like, how about the year?
That catch?
How about the catch was outrageous.
He's
right?
got better hands than most receivers in the league. I mean, that catch was phenomenal.
It was outrageous.
Dude, here's his wild card interception, division round, fumble recovery, championship game, forced fumble recovery, Super Bowl interception. This is a special teamer for 4 years.
He's been, I mean, you've never seen him. He's had a plate out of his mind. Zach! They're so good up the middle, right? Like up the middle. Carter, Zach Bond, Coop. How about Coop, man? Oh,
on his
my
birthday.
God.
Birthday boy, man. What a gift.
That return is that's why we want to return the kicks. Like, that was a great return.
Dude, Coop played his heart out. Q got into it, right? Like, he was shut
You
down.
saw Trot Jr. make a tackle and give the X Man.
I love that. Dude, that was awesome.
What a world these guys. Coop and Trot, their first year in the league. Super Bowl.
I know. I mean, that front, jeez. Dean, Smith was Noel Smith before he gets banged up. He was terrific.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, they're young, too. That's the thing about this defense that's so incredible is that they're young.
I mean, they're one of the youngest teams in football all around.
Definitely. And the fact that Vic isn't going anywhere. He's going to be here for years.
Kellen called a nice game, too.
He did.
I thought the offense was. I mean, they put up 90-something points in the last 2 games of the playoffs against Spags and Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Did you hear Sirianni at the end of the game? He was saying to Kellen Moore, "Let's roll it back, man. Let's roll it back." He literally said that was great.
Really?
Man. Yeah.
Props to Nicky.
Nicky,
I mean,
Nicky
he had them
fantastic.
focused. They were laser focused.
Now, and not for nothing, right? Like, that dude went through it.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude went through it. He was,
Yeah.
you know, especially you go back to week 5, during the bye, and everybody's going, "What's up, Sirianni? What's up with him?" And listen, I hear you. I was always a big Sirianni fan, right? And then I go, I don't know what this dude, like, is he losing it? Like, you know, some of the things you always wondered. You give him a lot of credit. He got back
He's an
to it.
unsung hero, I think. I was thinking about this last night. Whatever fan taunted him at the Cleveland game,
Oh, yeah.
where he lashed out, and then it was a whole drama. He
Him
shaved
yelling,
his head and
yeah.
became Nick Dickel, and he got laser focused. That kid, whoever poked him, he may
Nick
be the
Dickel.
MVP of this league, of the team. Right, for the
He's talking
season.
about Travis Bickle from Taxi Driver.
That should
Nick
be the
Bickle.
next statue. It should be the shaved head Sirianni yelling at the fan. Because that was the moment. That was the
Yeah, but
moment that changed him.
Let's think about this from a big picture standpoint first, though. This is a franchise that was horrific, horrible, like one of the dregs of the NFL. That's the history of this franchise. You know, all due respect to 1960 and you know, when they win the championship and there's Chuck with the cigar and the cigarette, right? Like, that's awesome. But from that on, they were horrible for 20 years. Like, in the early days of the league, they were horrible. They get to a Super Bowl, they get the doors, they lose to an underdog the last time they were in New Orleans. Then they're horrible again. And then, they finally get good with Andy Reid, and they can't win a big game. And I can't believe that they have now won 2 Super Bowls in 8 years, been to 3 of them. Should have won the other one. I mean, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, we have suffered and suffered and suffered, and now they're the best team. And now there's no more. Like, the Cowboys have been dead since the 90s, right? The Cowboys have been dead for 30 years.
Since before Joey Marone, our intern, was born.
Yeah.
They're not really
dead. No, they got nothing.
I meet up with every Super Bowl. I meet up with my buddy. We get 1 beer at Chickies for good luck in the morning, and he's had his daughter's 10-year-old birthday party, and he's like, she's 10, and this is 3 Super Bowls in her lifetime. That is wild.
Doesn't that put it in perspective?
And dude, this is a good one. The first one was great, but this is like, now we're not the Jets and the Saints and the Seahawks who are cute with your one.
No, I'll be honest with you.
They got 2 now.
Can I tell you? I wondered what it would be like if they won, right? How would it stack up?
Sure, yeah.
To February of 18, because it was the first one, right? The first one, and that was so bubbled up, right? Like, oh my God, to finally win one. And it was as sweet, if not better.
Oh, yeah.
Broad Street was way more crowded. I don't know if everyone's more excited, but the first one was fun and crowded. Broad Street was insane last night.
Yeah.
You could not move.
Yeah. I don't know. It was even you're right. It even felt different.
Oh, yeah.
From 2018.
To your point, I mean, 52 was beautiful because it was the first, and there was nothing like that the first. This was dominance. This was straight dominance. And we beat the best team in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that is what makes it.
We beat the second best team in the NFL.
Yeah, sure. But that makes it so more sweeter than anything ever.
Well, now we beat them. We had mop-up guys in. Backup quarterback to finish up the game.
Kenny Pickett, man.
Pickett gets in. What are the odds that Kenny Pickett would even get in, like, without an injury?
Yeah. How bad were you rooting for Wentz to get in?
No, I don't want to see this guy at all.
I wanted that spot. Yeah.
See him get crushed.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would have been awesome. No, they are. They are such a dominant team. And here's the thing. The new dynasty, everybody's going to be talking about it, is the Eagles.
EAGLES.
Like, I can't fathom this. The Eagles are the favorite to win next year. And it already came out.
I'm looking at bet Parks are tied with the Chiefs, plus 600.
All right. I saw something else that they were favorite, whatever. My point is, they're going to be the dynasty talk.
Let's do it.
Because now,
Better make my plan. Let's get a San Fran hotel now.
Let's do it, baby.
now when you think about it, right? Now, you've been in 2 in the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
This team is young. Jalen's in his prime, right? Barkley still got tread on the tire. AJ, Devontae, right?
They're
AJ's in
here.
his prime. Devontae, young, right? Like, that O-line, other than Lane, the O-line, and Lane's still not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
Like, that team, that the bones of that team are young. The defenses are puppies, right?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
the defense, Carter. We think about that. Carter and Smith, Nolan Smith, and Jordan Davis, and
Coop.
Well, I'm starting on the line, but yeah, Jomo and
I like a Jomo. Jalix, yeah.
Jalix, who's some speed tracking down him.
Yeah. He had a good game.
Milton Williams, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Milton might not be back.
I hope he is.
Zach Bourne, who will be back. And then you got your, like you said, Cooper, Quinyon. I mean, N'Kobe.
Yeah.
I forgot N'Kobe was hurt.
Yeah.
Trot Jr. Like,
Yeah,
they
man.
got They got a lot of youth. They're a young team. Like we're talking dynasty for real. Hey, we're gonna take care of some business. This is gonna be a fun week. What an incredible week, man.
Kai Becton fighting through injuries last night.
How about him in series? That was beautiful.
Dude, what a warrior.
He's had a rough go with his expectations and everything. It's been a rough road for him.
Yeah, it really has. Really has. It was a great, like this, the story of this team is the individuals are amazing. You know, the quarterback, what Jalen has had to have done.
Just shut down the GOAT, too.
What's Joey sleeping?
Joey hasn't slept all night. He was out partying on Broad
Joey's
Street.
out.
And he was
Joey's
literally
out cold.
sleeping.
We're going to throw spitballs at him.
I wish I had a camera. I would have showed him.
I don't blame you, buddy. I don't blame you. All right, we got to take care of some of our friends, shall we? Like Golden Nugget Jewelers. You know, today's February 10th.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Friday is?
Yeah, I mean, you're probably going to be loaded and drunk on Friday, so you better have a gift in hand ready because any plans you have for Valentine's Day is out the window.
Yeah. That's right. Spoken like a true veteran. A man's been married for 100 years. That's it. All right. Friday's the parade. It's also Valentine's Day. That begins Valentine's Day weekend. Do yourself a solid. Go to Golden Nugget Jewelers, right in the heart of Jewelers Row, Center City, 8th and Chestnut. Get her a pair of diamond earrings. Get her a diamond pendant. Get her a bracelet, right? Go and get her something nice. And you'll be, trust me, just take care of it. And you can have a blast, the parade, the whole thing. Golden Nugget Jewelers. And if you, there was somebody got engaged last night at the game. I know somebody got engaged last night on Broad Street. There might be some more engagements for the parade. Maybe you want to pop the question for the parade. All right? I love Between Eagles fans. Go see your own. It's my boy at Golden Nugget Jewelers. He's going to hook you up. All right? Trust me. Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged. GoldenNuggetJewelers.com. Also, let's talk about Rothman. Oh, the great doctors of Rothman. Man, they keep us in motion. Joints aching, hands cramping, back out of whack. Rothman's got you at Rothman Orthopedics, practicing specialized care for 50 years. Their mission, high quality, compassionate, affordable care, rooted in research. Research leading to new treatments and better outcomes. Each Rothman doctor laser focus on their specialty. Hip, knee, spine, you name it. They have a team for each body part right in your backyard. So you can cross over that defense, drain those jumpers, root for our squads like no other fans in the country. They're Rothman Orthopedics, and they specialize in you. That's 50 years of specialized orthopedics and you. Visit RothmanOrtho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today. All right, joining us from the All PHLY Bird Show. Great job, man. He just crushed it. Him and his partner, Z Berm, rock stars all week long, doing some great work. Mm-hmm. Champs, Bo! Bo Wulf! Champs!
What a night. What a night. What a performance. I mean, I thought there was a chance that the Eagles were going to blow that team out. I did. I said all week that they had a better chance of blowing the Chiefs out than vice versa. But I didn't think they were gonna like make them look like they didn't belong on the same field after the first down of the game for the Chiefs. It was unbelievable. They punched him in the mouth and they kept punching him. They bullied the champs, and now they are the champs, and rightfully so.
They bullied him. You're spot on. I think we all kind of felt that there was a chance for margin, right? We talked, but like you said, and I remember you saying that too, and you were spot on. And I thought you were right that. You know, I thought it would go where the Chiefs come out to a lead and then the Eagles, kind of take control of the game and then they tack on at the end with like a Barkley run, that sort of thing, to push it over double digits. They were never in the game. Bo, you've been covering football now for a minute. This sort of dominance, I don't remember. In a Super Bowl, this was like 85 Bears.
and it made it so clear that this roster was just so much better than the Chiefs. And it's interesting because I think from a game plan standpoint, the Chiefs kind of got what they wanted. I think their two plans in this game were to shut down Saquon Barkley and to shut down Jalen Carter. And guess what? The other 20 players on the field for the Eagles just beat up every single man across them and just dominated this game. It was wild.
Except, you know what? They didn't really stop Carter. As much as they doubled and tripled him, they didn't stop him. He was still in Mahomes' face. He, to me, I'll be honest with you, he, to me, was the MVP of the whole night because he was such a game record to their offense. I mean,
and also just the attention that he drew, even though he was getting some pressure against those doubles and triples, it meant that all of those other guys were getting one-on-ones and they were winning them.
And he was a free rusher who was singled up. And the amazing thing about Carter is he was still in Mahomes' face, even against the double and the triple. I mean, that dude, I've never seen anything like it from that kid. When do they start moving him up and down? And he's Aaron Donald. He's out. He is right now. I think he's the best defensive tackle in the NFL.
I don't disagree with you. I think that's totally fair. I think because of that, the perfect encapsulation of the difference in these two rosters was you're double and tripling Jalen Carter, right? Joe Tooney, okay, it goes out from left guard to left tackle, and everybody's celebrating what an amazing thing is that Joe Tooney can go to left tackle in a pinch when they need it. Tom Brady's given him Offensive Player of the Year votes, right? He goes to left tackle, and Jalix Hunt, the rookie third-round pick from Abilene Christian in his first season, just dominates Joe Tooney. I mean, he bull rushes him into the chest, knocks him back, sacks Patrick Mahomes, all game long, he was doing that. You got Josh Sweat flipping sides. That's how deep this roster was, that their third edge rusher is dominating the guy who everyone was celebrating on the Chiefs' offensive line.
I mean, Bo, that unit, I mean, they got just embarrassed. They couldn't hold up. As much as we talk about, how that Chiefs and they put that Chiefs offense is this and that. They can't do anything if you have no time. Say whatever you want about, Mahomes and he played horrible, whatever. He had no chance. That front, just wrecked everything. I'm looking at Andy on the sidelines. They flashed Andy on the sidelines, and you could see he was worried early. You could see that he was like, oh my God, I don't know. I have no answers for this. Because you have no answers if your if the front in front of you is in your backfield the whole game.
And from a storytelling standpoint, I think it was the Chiefs came into this game with every confidence that they have the mystique and everybody's going to be a little bit scared, and if the game is close, that yes, Patrick Mahomes is going to take them over, right?
Yeah.
And they get to that game. And they're thinking, we played this team 2 years ago, and they were up for the challenge on offense, but we could do whatever we wanted against their defense. And they get there, and I think they realized early on in the first quarter, oh man, we did not know what kind of game we were in for, and I think they knew early that they had no chance.
They did. You're right. I mean, Mahomes, he looked harried, frenzied. When do you ever see him with happy feet?
He looked wincy.
Right? He looked wincy. Very good, VG. I mean,
he did. I cannot remember seeing him like that.
No. And how about, my God, Zach Bond, Cooper, Quinyon. I mean, the interception, the Bond interception was ridiculous. The Cooper pick six. I mean, think about this. This kid has this amazing year. Pick six. I mean, are you kidding me? How amazing was that story?
On his birthday.
I think that was when the game was over, right? It was 10-0 at that point. And the Eagles, and you're like, okay, the Chiefs have a chance now to settle into this game. That was right after the Jalen Hurts interception, right?
Yes.
And they go, and I guess not because that was the Bond one, but they go sack, pick six, which is like as dominant of a defensive drive as you could possibly have. And I was talking to, you got a couple Big J journos on your squad here, because Zach and I made our way into the Eagles hotel post-game party. I was talking with some people. I was talking with a guy who works for NFL Films and was on the Chiefs sideline. And he said after that Cooper DeJean pick six, like the sideline was dead. They knew it, this game is over.
Wow. That's awesome. That's great. That's a great little nugget right there. No, I mean, listen. Well, first of all, what was the party like? Now that you tell me this, what was give me some sights and sounds. That's fantastic.
We were there till the lights came up at 3 in the morning, cuss. And here's the scene. Here's the scene that I will tell you. The lights come up, and there's two people left, like two Eagles people left, embracing and taking pictures with fans and everything. And the two people are the person who deserves to celebrate the most, who carried the heaviest weight of the season, and that's VG's boy, Nick Sirianni.
Nice.
And then the person who I thought had the biggest reason to soak it all in, because this could be the end of an unbelievable ride, and that is Brandon Graham. And so Nick Sirianni, Brandon Graham, the last one standing at this party.
That's awesome.
It's fitting. Yeah.
It is fitting.
Yeah, man. I was giving Nick his props. Pay the man. He's due a big payday now. I'm glad he's here.
Yeah, I mean, let's go.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's deserved it. He earned it, man.
What was Howie doing? I mean, the guy who deserves it, the guy that put the roster together.
He's looking at He's looking at college players, dude, on his pad.
Oh, yeah, he's watching Senior Bowl tape. There's no rest. There's no rest for Howie. He's going to say, we're like 2 weeks behind the rest of the league. We got to get going. I got there after Howie must have left. But my understanding is that he was very happy. And in the post-game locker room, right when reporters were let in, it's cigar smoke filling the air. It's deafeningly loud music, and Howie's in the middle, dancing with the guys. So he was living it up. Well deserved.
Man, that's fantastic. The brace between him and Barkley was beautiful. Like watching the stories. I mean, look. I mean, when you think about Jalen and what he's been through this year, God bless him, man. I mean, he played a great game last night. He ran when he needed to run. He spread the ball around, like he played well, and he had a lot to deal with, this whole season. Like I love the journey, the individual journeys on this team. There's some really interesting ones, Bo.
Yeah, that was what struck me when we were in the post-game locker room. Just, you look around, and every single person has their own story that, like, this is the apex of. And it's not just the coaches. I mean, it's not just the players. It's not just the coaches. It's not just the personnel staff. It's the support staff, like the trainers and everybody who is around the team, like the equipment managers. And all of them, like, they sacrifice their time over the last several months, like all this stuff just for this. And they got there. And it's a beautiful thing. And Jalen was soaking it up. He's very aware of the cameras. He's doing his Michael Jordan moments. He gets to light the cigar. He sort of sits down in the hallway with the Lombardi trophy, but he's earned that. He deserves it. And you're absolutely right. He went through a lot this season. In the Super Bowl, I guess they kept the straight jacket off. He led the team in rushing, right? In addition to throwing for over 200 yards and the long touchdown to Devontae. So yeah, he's well deserving of the celebration, just as they all are.
You know what's nuts is that when you looked at I looked at the box score at halftime, and it was nuts because Dotson was the leading receiver, right? They didn't have a ton of yards.
This was the first game all season long, aside from Week 18 when the backups played, that Jahan Dotson had 2 catches that went for a first down.
Yeah, I mean, it was nuts because when you looked at the box score at halftime, the Eagles are dominating, and yet it didn't reflect. Like, it was a weird box score.
Well, they were getting good field position, so they didn't have long drives to put together.
To the defense. Yeah, I mean, look, the defense. God bless the offense, right? But this to me, the number one story in the inverted pyramid was the defense.
Yeah, for me, the big play,
For sure.
the big plays were it's 24-0 at halftime. I'm still like, they come out, they get the first down, Andy Reid and the Chiefs, but then it's sack, scramble, punt, and at that point, all right, they came out the second half, they got nothing. This is over.
Yeah,
That was a big stop by the defense.
First possession, but again, the way they made Mahomes look like this defense. I mean, Bo, we were talking about it earlier. This is 85 Bears-like domination. Give me another defense that dominated like this in the Super Bowl. And really,
I agree. That was
all playoffs.
That was my takeaway after the game. I said to Zach, like, I think the story is this Eagles defense is the best in franchise history and is in the conversation for the best defenses of all time. Given the era that they're playing in, given the arc of the season, that they had the early season bye, and after week 5, they were unbelievable. And it's not just how good they were and how talented they were, and they don't miss tackles, they force turnovers. They played a really high level of competition too. They beat Lamar Jackson, right? They beat Stafford twice. They beat Mahomes. Like they really proved it against
Burrow.
some of the best teams in the league. Yeah, they beat Burrow. They deserved it. They beat Jaden Daniels in the playoffs, right? Like this defense really, really earned it.
I'm glad you said that because you're spot on. I never thought in my wildest imaginations that I would see a better defense than Reggie, Jerome, Clyde, right? Seth, Wes Hopkins, Andre Waters, Eric, Hall of Fame Allen, right? Like I never thought I would see a better defense. But to your point, yeah. I mean, they completely grounded Patrick Mahomes to a nub. You're talking about one of the greatest offensive minds, right? Andy Reid, and the whole thing. Now, you can tell me all you want, the Chiefs O-line was not, sturdy enough, but they just were, every level was dominant. And the coordinator, that freaking, Pop was unbelievable, called just another great game. I mean, he's done so much. And just the idea of him showing them how he lost, right? Like, he connects with them. He's done a great job, Fangio.
He's done an unbelievable job. And, we talk so much about the talent, and they are so talented. But I don't know if another coordinator gets this level of performance out of that talent, given how young they were, all the rookies in the back end, the moving parts. We've talked about it a lot, but I don't know if there's another coordinator out there who turns Zach Bond into his day one middle linebacker, and he turns in this season, who shortens the defensive line rotation so much. And in this game, it was not a particularly exotic game plan, right? Vic knew that if they lined up man on man, like they were gonna win their matchups in this game, and he didn't have to do a ton of. I remember one exchange pressure where Zach Bond comes and Josh Sweat drops, or Nolan Smith drops rather, but there was not a ton of exotic stuff. He was trusting the guys up front to win. He was playing pretty basic coverages. That wasn't what was flustering Mahomes. It was the guys up front. But sometimes, it takes an experienced coordinator to know that you don't have to get too crazy in a moment like this.
Yeah, that's a great point, Bo. It's a great point. Here's the other thing. You brought up their youth. I mean, imagine they're a young team. Like that unit, Bo, they're going to start talking about Eagles being a dynasty, right? That's the next thing. Because you know how the NFL is. It's like, all right, well, who's the next dynasty? It was the Patriots, then it was the Chiefs, and now the Eagles, having been to the Super Bowl in 22, let's forget the 17-18 team, the 22, and now, 10-1, and now this year you win it. People will start talking about this team like it's a potential another dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, cause that it's not so easy. Things change every year, even if the roster stays the same. There will be different dynamics. There will be different challenges. The schedule will be different. There will be all kinds of different things. There's the disease of more, as they say, right? Maybe people are a little bit less willing to sacrifice. All of that stuff is true. I don't know that they'll be as good as they were this year, even though on paper they should be. But they're set up very well. As you said, the roster on defense is very young. The roster on offense is very good, and guys in the middle of their prime. But I do think if you're just zooming out, I think you can say definitively, like over the past decade, this is the second best franchise in the sport after the Chiefs, right? They've gotten to the 3 Super Bowls, they've won 2, and this is very much a Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie credit to them, because there has been turnover among that, and yet they've still been able to get back to the top of the mountain.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm going, I can't believe they won it again, like
dude,
twice. Like,
we
we never thought they would win it in our lifetime, dude. Like I remember thinking, my cousin and I talking and going, man, I hope we get to see one. We're going to be old men and blah, blah, blah. They've won 2. Wow.
Well, we are old men, but they've won 2.
Yeah, well, I thought old. I meant old.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't believe they've won 2.
We said you needed to knock the champ out. That was like a Mike Tyson knockout from his prime.
Yeah, we talked about one of the things we talked about, Bo, was making sure you knock them out, right? Like, you remember early on the OPI on AJ, and you're like, Here we go, that ticky-tack call, horrible. And it was like you got to knock them out, and they knocked them out, man. That was a TKO.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this just in terms of like how mean this team is, right? Like they really were bullies all season long. Mm-hmm. And I wonder, like, from a Sirianni perspective, did the way that people talked about him at the end of last season and early this season, after the Browns game when he's yelling at fans, maybe that made him a little meaner, right? Maybe it allowed him to turn that nastiness up for the team a little bit. Like, they've got all these guys, the Georgia Dogs, who have that background, right? They will all punch you in the mouth. And I thought the best example of that, aside from the defense just like knocking heads off and beating guys one-on-one, was, third quarter, it's 27-0. They get the turnover on downs after the Avonte Maddox 4th down stop, and the first play, they take the shot deep to Devontae Smith. Like, we are not messing around. We are going to bury you, and then we're gonna kill you again. Like that. I thought that was really badass.
Yes, that's so spot on, man. That's so perfect. Man, this is a great day, man.
I'm looking at this quote, Yahoo Sports, DeAndre Hopkins. I saw a lot of things in the media about the refs. What are y'all going to say about the refs and us now? There's a lot of touchy calls. You going to report that? You going to report the refs?
Touchy calls.
Oh, give me a break.
Oh my God, dude!
You going to talk about the refs now?
His decrepit ass caught one ball. Finally caught a ball in their offense.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, like, I guess the roughness on Goddard that extended the drive, I thought that was a little ticky tack, but that's like the only call that I thought was not the right call.
But I thought that was a makeup call.
Yeah,
I thought so too. Yes,
I mean, that
100%.
was so it's even. So 2 ticky tacks, and we called it even. That was it. I mean, you can't cry about anything when you get dominated like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is such loser stuff.
It is.
Right, it is.
It's cringy. It is. My brother,
like, bro, you got 1 first down in the entire first half.
They had more penalty yards than total yards in the first half.
It took you 10 possessions to get past midfield. What are we talking about?
What's on tap for you guys?
So Zach and I are flying home at noon today. Fingers crossed. So I think Jamie, Rich, Fran, some combination of those guys are going to do the show today. Zach and I will be back tomorrow. I can't speak for Zach, but I'm on 90 minutes of sleep, so it's gonna be a nice punchy week as we lead into the parade on Friday.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Yeah, and then you can relax a little bit. Listen, great work.
No such thing.
Dude,
no such
nice
thing.
Work
Baby.
all season, dude.
Great work, man.
Thank
great
you.
stuff, dude. Excellent stuff. So much fun. You guys killed it. You slayed it out there. Great job. Really. We'll come up next week. We'll get Vince and we'll all go out for a nice big steak. All right, on the company.
That sounds nice. Good to me.
Yeah. My brother,
All right,
great
thanks,
job.
guys.
Have a safe flight. Give Zach a hug. And great stuff. Champs! Champs, Bo!
I will. Take it.
How about that?
It's great, man.
Champs. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's just
I
fantastic.
settled in when I was walking down South Street to Broad Street. Like, I got a little, some teary-eyed. Because the walk down the Broad Street is probably my favorite part because every car's got people hanging out. They're all honking. They are dudes and ladies with their shirts off. It was chaos in cars around town and high-fiving hundreds of people. It's just so
Yeah,
it's
well, you
amazing.
have all those people, right? All those people.
I'm man enough to say this. I cried in my car on the way here today.
Yeah, man.
I did.
What the hell?
I last night it
What
was
about
just,
baby? Of course.
it was so surreal, the feeling. It just didn't settle. And then this morning, driving in, listening to the radio, listening to music, I just bursted, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, we just won! They just won the Super Bowl. Best feeling ever."
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was special. Hey, let's tap into the brain. Our boy, the brain.
Brain.
Red,
The Brain Finder.
Yo, brain. Yo, brain. Champs, brain.
there?
Champs. You're in the dark.
I don't see you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
All right, I
We
don't
don't-
see. I don't see myself, but that's
We don't
okay.
see you
Oh
We
wait,
don't
hang
see
on.
you either. You look like you're in a closet.
No, here we
There
go.
we
go.
You know, I'm like the Chiefs' offensive line, a little behind the times. But anyway, we got it fixed. I mean, I'm sure you guys obviously. I know you've touched on it. It was just what a performance. I mean, and what do I always say, and I know we talk gambling on this section. I always say the best bets you can make. I go, look, pre-flop, I call it. Obviously, there's the stuff you find some edged on. Hopefully, you win more and you lose. But that game, Anthony, was so similar to the Tampa Bay game from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was, when Tampa Bay beat Kansas City. When you saw that they could not protect Mahomes, the only thing I was wrong on, I thought they were going to win by 40. Well, I
Yeah.
literally said they're going to win by 40, which I kind of somewhat could have been, but
Well,
obviously they got the
actually
two.
should have been.
and
They
the
got the
touchdowns
two
at the end.
raggy touchdowns
But-
at the end.
Yeah, I mean, I this for me in the last 10 years, the two games I think I did the best live betting on the last 10 years were the Tampa Bay Eagles game from 2 years ago when they kept favoring the Eagles against Tampa Bay when you could
Right.
last year, and then this game where this was such domination, such just I was so impressed with every single thing from the Philadelphia Eagles point of view. And by the way, I thought Mahomes, shocking. I don't know. I actually thought he played a bad game on top of him not having a chance. I thought he actually played poorly, even though he had no chance.
Yeah, but I don't
just an
think you could.
amazing
I don't think you
performance.
could say that in the same sentence. Like the reason why you play poorly is because you are completely under the gun.
Yeah, he was under the
There
gun.
was nowhere for him to go. There was no
No.
time. There was not that defense. And we were talking about this, and one of the reasons why I'm glad you called in today. The brain brought to us by the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app is you give historical perspective. This defensive performance was like the 85 Bears, except the Bears did it to
Better,
Tony
maybe even.
Eason and the Patriots who stunk
He's some good games
versus
in the past.
a dynasty. The Eagles did this to a dynasty.
Yeah, it's funny. I was trying to think, Anthony, what games could you compare it to? I mean, obviously the Peyton Manning, you say maybe the Peyton Manning Seattle game was that 40-6 or whatever it was against Peyton Manning. That's probably the best comp, maybe. But this was such dominate. Again, the final score to me, it was actually, I had actually almost go as far to say, maybe the most deceiving final score all year played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Which is actually weird to say. But I don't think I've seen, I think that was the most dominant performance I've seen a game. And Anthony, me and you watch all these games. I don't know if I've seen a more dominant performance all year in the NFL. All year. I'm talking every game, take Ravens against whoever. I mean, every game in the NFL, I don't think I've seen one team thoroughly manhandle a team more than this game. I mean, it was beautiful to see. Philadelphia deserves it. I give everyone so much credit that just preparation wise. And look, I will say this. I always want to know what would it look like to see Saquon Barkley completely shut down. I'm like, that can't happen. They took him away completely, but you know what? Didn't make even a 1% difference because the Eagles defense and Hurts, give Hurts credit. I will tell you, like Hurts to me this year, I thought was very erratic. I didn't have faith in him necessarily to be what he was 2 years ago. I give him a lot of credit. He played really, really well. And he stepped up when he had to, and he did I give him credit. I really, really do, because a lot of people, and again, I'll admit it, I did question, would he be good enough to just not get in the way of this team? He did a lot more than that. I tip my cap to him. I tip my cap to this entire Eagles team. It was great to see. And then look, you say to yourself, now free agency's coming up, Anthony, with all
Real
these
quick,
defensive
you
linemen.
know what's nuts? Like, I'm looking at the box score. I just wanted to look back at the box score.
Yeah.
The most amazing thing about the box score is, now I know Devontae had the long touchdown, the 46-yarder. But
Sure.
Other than that, I mean, Jahan Dotson was the leading receiver for most of the game, right?
Wow, I would never even, it's funny, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because he had 2 for 42. AJ finished with 3 for 43. And then the long touchdown to Devontae. But Dotson was the leading receiver. Barkley, Hurts was the leading rusher. And
we never guessed that.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, if you take away the Devontae 46-yarder, I mean, Jalen throws for like $180, right? Like, so you look around and you go, wait, like they dominated, but you didn't really see it in the box score.
Correct.
You know,
yeah, well, because it was and
dominated that
defensively,
game. And it was so indicative to who they are. They're a dominant defense and O-line, right?
And I give you
Jalen
credit.
plays point
You were
guard.
you kept saying Eagles alternate line, Eagles minus 9.5, 4 to 1, Eagles minus 13.5, 7 to 1. I wish I could sit here and tell you I did it. I didn't. And I definitely am kicking myself. I'm like, why didn't I just lay 13.5 for a pizza? Why didn't I just do it for a little bit? Because
that's what I'm saying. Pizza bet. We were kept talking about it because
this is the way to beat them. Yeah.
Like you could have seen, I didn't think it would be like this, but what I thought was going to happen was Chiefs up 7-0, and then the Eagles roll the rest of the way. I mean, that's what I thought was going to happen. But it was just utter dominance for 3 quarters and 12 minutes.
They almost hit.
It's hard to get a game that goes like that.
Over's 48.5. I mean, they hit 40 on their own by themselves. Wow.
It's so hard, VG, to get a game that just goes like those Avalanche games. It just goes your way as a fan, where there's nothing to complain about. You're like, what? It's funny. I texted Anthony. I did text Anthony, I'll admit. And remember, Anthony, I texted you on the AJ Brown thing. I was furious. First quarter, that when I'm like, are you kidding? I literally said to myself,
it was a bad
I was
call.
like, this again?
Yeah.
It's funny. It reminded me of
like
the one when they called on. Yeah. It was like when on the fourth quarter on the 38-35 loss from 2 years ago when they called the pass interference on Bradbury. I'm like, it's like going 36 and the 35. All right, are you really going to call that? I'm like, you're really going to call that? But then they did get it back with the Goddard play, which was equally as egregious. So there were 2 horrible calls. One went each way. I'm glad that that's not a talking point for Eagles fans, for the league, but just a phenomenal performance.
Yeah, tell them.
DeAndre Hopkins, he's making statements complaining. He's like, all that talk about the Chiefs getting the calls. Like, what do you think now about the refs? You going to report that story about the touchy calls that the Eagles were getting last night?
Well, that was actually, DeAndre Hopkins did hurt me. I had under 1.5 catches. That was painful, that last catch he got from me. But look, that was just such a great performance. Again, I am in. Let me ask you guys a question. Obviously, it's not Troy. Talk about repeat. It seems like the Eagles, Anthony, VG, have like a bunch of guys that are good players that are free agents, maybe more than any other team. Am I off when I say that? Seems like they have more good free agents than any team in the NFL this year. In terms of like, did they could
I
lose?
haven't looked at the rest of the league.
Linemen and Vaughn,
no? I'll do the league next
Worry about that
week.
later.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. So looking at the playoffs, I mean, Ball's coming back. You're probably going to lose Sweat. You're probably going to lose Williams.
I think they played too well.
You know, I think those guys.
Yeah, I think they played too
I mean,
well.
they made their
Yeah.
money. I think Bond's the one that has to
Done for.
come back. You'll
I
probably
agree.
lose Becton.
Oh, he was on a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
Okay. That was, look, again, Eagles have such a great organization, and that when you have a great organization, it really just makes everything flow, so to speak. And listen, I give them a lot of credit. Look, again, I will totally say, early in the year with Nick, when some of this play call, when he was going for some of these fourth downs, not kicking field goals. Look, I first one will tell you, I was coming after him saying, what is going on here? Is this the guy to leave? So I'm always will be the first one to say, if I don't get it right, I'll admit I was wrong. So I give him a lot of credit. And again, great organization, well-deserved Philadelphia. And I was as happy as anyone last night.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm happy, buddy. Great stuff, brother. It's going to be fun. Hey, do you get the Eagles are the favorite? They're co-favorites?
No, they're not. They're not.
Parks got them as a
I don't think they were,
co-favorites.
Anthony. Oh, they were co-favorites?
This
I
morning,
thought
yeah.
Baltimore was VG, and I thought Detroit was ahead of them. No?
Oh, this morning I looked at Bet Parks had them tied with the Chiefs.
Oh, they okay. I mean, look, obviously, I usually never take the favorites in terms of just it's so hard to win.
Yeah.
But obviously, the Eagles, great organization, they're going to be tough to beat, and it's just a wonderful day here. And again, I very very exciting last night.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Brain, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Great stuff.
You got it, buddy.
Enjoy,
Quick thing. Wait, quick thing. Got a quick prop, if that's okay.
Yeah.
You there? John Collins over 6.5 rebounds, 21-12. Want to give you guys an over that's going to win.
I love that. I love that.
Be good,
John
guys.
Collins.
All right.
Borden. Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Oh, God. I didn't want to talk about basketball after the
what?
Sixers.
Yeah, let's not think about that today. Let's
Did
keep
you
with the.
see? So before the game, right? Like,
Oh man.
I was watching Sixers Bucks. Oh, they're horrible. It's a shame, man. Maxey plays his heart out, and then there's Embiid again. It's a dominant first half. Because first of all, I love UB Brown, and it was his last game.
Yeah, did they do anything in the beginning? Or?
All game long. It was
Nice,
awesome, man.
nice.
All his partners.
Awesome.
Tarico was on.
Cool.
All his partners called up. I'm a huge Breen fan. I love Breen.
Mhm.
Mike Breen's
Yeah.
fantastic. He gave the whole thing. I mean, it was awesome. It was a great telecast.
Cool.
But they would bring guys in from on Zoom
Yeah,
from their
nice.
house to pay tribute. And he's just, and all he wanted to do was talk about the game.
I should have here the night before with the Dickie V return.
Yeah, I watched that
my
game
God.
too.
It was
Clemson. That was
so good to hear him again.
That was Clemson and Duke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that was awesome.
And also to kind of just turn the knife a little more on Dallas. Anthony Davis gets hurt and is out for several weeks after that
Yeah,
big trade
I
and
know,
all
how
that
about that?
stuff. So
That was
keep,
like-
keep twisting that knife.
I know. Although Embiid talking about the knife.
Ah,
needs another
yeah.
surgery. Saying.
Yeah, so Embiid says
That's a different knife.
Embiid says, and like this is a big deal that no one has said before. They kept saying, well, he's gonna have to deal with it. Like, how many times did we say, go get surgery
Shut
and
it
then
down.
shut it down
Yep.
Yep.
and do it tomorrow?
Yes.
Like, don't wait. So he comes out and says, yeah, I'm gonna have to go get surgery and it's gonna be a long recovery.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then what are we waiting for? Right? Like, yo, dude, go schedule it.
Yeah.
Enough of this nonsense. But it's amazing because he says it, the team doesn't say it.
Right.
This is-
That's a whole dysfunction.
That Nick Nurse is
I
a
hate
freaking woeful coach, too.
Yeah. Seriously.
His rotations blow.
Let's just ride this high.
God.
Let's ride this high until baseball.
I
all right?
know. No, I'm with you.
We'll just
I don't
skip
even mean
basketball.
listen, I don't even care about that. I just brought it up only because he brought up basketball and I can't do the Super Bowl pregame show.
Yeah.
Like,
You can't do 7 hours of pregame.
as much as I love the pregame and all,
Yeah.
like
It's a lot.
after 2 weeks of it, I was watching, I watched Temple, I was like going back and forth. And actually the Sixers were fun to watch early. Like first half was just an entertaining games going off, Tyrese is going off. It was fun. But Like you're twiddling your thumbs until the game starts.
Oh, that 8 hours it's just all repeat. They say the same thing back over and over and over again. We
Yeah, there's
watched
nothing
it
new.
at my house, and
Yeah,
we were just like, why are we even watching this? But
but you have
You're
to.
hyped,
It's
you're
almost
hyped.
like it's part of it.
yeah,
It's like you got to put on Home Alone during Christmas, right? Like
yeah.
you're watching
Charlie
it.
Brown,
Right? You just watch. It's on. You've seen it thousands. And you're watching the same stuff. Nothing's new.
Mhm.
The greatest was you did. Thank God the Eagles did something else too. They vanquished Taylor Swift. Like you didn't see her during the
one
game.
shot.
It was the boo. It was the boo shot, and then you never saw her.
Right. That was the best. What'd you guys think of the graphics?
Oh, the new score bug and all that.
Yeah.
I'm 50-50 on it. I think it might grow on me.
Yeah, I was fine with it.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think it was a little corny. Like the abbreviation was so big, like the PHI and all that. I thought that was a little
Corny? Yeah.
It was a little big, but I don't know. It'll grow.
I thought it was different.
Yeah.
Like it felt different,
Yeah.
Can I give props to Tom Brady? I loved him last night. I thought he was fantastic. He was
Really?
he was
I'm a Brady. I like Brady. You know I like Brady. But I didn't think he was good at all last night.
I think he was giving the Eagles their flowers. And I
Yeah, well,
really
I'm not-
enjoyed hearing that from him.
Yeah, well, how do you not give the Eagles flowers when they dominate the game? I thought he was too chatty. Like he does not like he goes on. He's a run on sentence. Like
Well, that's like Romo usually.
yeah, he had a lot of that. Like he wasn't. Yeah, I could see. Like, he felt like the moment was big for him last night. It sounds odd since he talked about being in 9 Super Bowls, right?
Yeah.
But it's his first one being an analyst and all. I get it.
What irritated me kind of about the broadcasts, they just made mention every time Barkley got stopped for 2 or 3. Oh, he can't get it. The score's 24-0. It's like, what the? They're making
Yeah.
such a big deal out of them stopping.
Yeah.
Saying on. But I thought we were agreeing when you mentioned, you said something about Tom. I love the Tom Cruise intro. Man, it sounded good, big. It's like, yes, let's get this game on. I'm all about Tom Cruise.
Well, just like the 52.
You know what? At first, my inclination is to not like it.
Yeah, he was like, let's go. And it was done. It was
But
like,
it was
let's
actually,
go.
But you're right. It actually was big.
Yeah.
When
When
you're right about that, VG.
When they introed the teams and like they had John Hamm do the Chiefs, his voice was cracking, all that stuff. It just wasn't really powerful. But when you had Bradley Cooper, that you could feel the energy of that stadium just coming through the screen. It almost felt like 52.
Yeah.
Thank God
Like-
he had the energy because he didn't really bring it on that hype video they released.
That was
He
a
got
little
pretty shredded in the
that was-
public, but
that
he
was
just felt
dull.
like he mailed that one in, the voiceover of Bradley Cooper. So I'm glad he saved his energy for the
Yeah.
live event.
Well, I mean, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You gotta step up strong.
Yeah, he
Super
did.
Bowl.
He did.
He did. Pete Coop making cheesesteaks on Bourbon Street
Yeah, man.
with Danny,
Yeah, man.
with Angelo's, Danny from Angelo's, and Bowl. That was just. I still can't believe
So
it.
surreal.
It is surreal. Oh, we got to talk about. This all week long.
We're running here.
I'm going to be. Thank God I'm in the new format. Right here at PHLY, and you're going to tell people about all our stuff that's going on at PHLY,
Yes, I will.
all our gear and diehard
Definitely.
stuff going on.
Definitely
But
will.
I'm in such a I just want to sit and talk. I mean, my God, just chat. The only thing I'm missing today is I wish that there was a call button. Like we gotta. That's our next iteration.
Oh,
where
yeah.
I know we do. If you want to join us, you could reach out to Andrew, and he'll take care of you with a link, and you can pop on. And I love this new video. It's like TMZ, where you can just pop on and you're on the show. But I just want you, I want the volume of people, all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
E-I-G-L-E-S.
Chad Spencer in the chat. Chiefs should be writing Father's Day cards to the Eagles.
That's freaking awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, do us a solid. Read the chat later on, man. I want to hear from our people.
Sean from North Virginia has a good question. Do the Birds have the opening Thursday night game now next season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, are you kidding me? They're now the darlings of the NFL, too. And we're going to be going to Australia in 2 years. Like, it'll
Going
be.
down under.
Yeah, like, it's going to be the like, we're about. I talked about the Roaring 20s years ago. Do you remember this?
Yeah, of course.
So when I was on radio, when the 20s were up, well, like this was like the end of, what was it, like 16, 17? I talked about the Roaring 20s. And I was like, listen, get ready because the 20s in Philadelphia are going to be amazing. It's going to be 4 for 4. Now, again, it was Wentz and Simmons at the time. All right. So I was wrong with those two. But I thought that, you know what? We would start to feel the shine of the world. Because next year in 2026 is USA 250. And we'll host every All-Star game. We have the World Cup. I mean, we'll be the toast of this country, of America. 250 years old. The birthday will be right here in the first capital, the first city. And I thought, this is a party for us. And it's turned out to be. Thanks to, Jeffrey and Howie and all the people in the Eagles. And the Phillies will be back. And the Flyers are going to turn it around,
Philly's got the 4th best odds according to Bet Parks right now. So
yeah,
they're in it.
All right. Speaking of Bet Parks, what a great time, right? Bet Parks Sportsbook online casino app. Hopefully you took a lot of our props because I think we did very well in the props. I think we did really well. I kept saying hammer the Eagles alternate line minus 9.5, and it paid out handsomely. We even said pay to lay at 13.5. I mean, all that stuff, the Eagles team total. How many times did I say go over the Eagles team total? Right? Like, there were some winners.
They did that in the first half pretty much.
They did.
Yeah.
There's a lot of winners. So hopefully you cashed in, and there's always another way to cash on the Bet Park Sportsbook online casino app. And they have all the casino stuff, live online blackjack dealers and roulette, you name it, hot online slots. New customers, download the app. You get up to $1,000 casino bonus back. Got to be 21. You got to be in PA, New Jersey, Michigan, Maryland, Ohio. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, parents, pay attention. TrueMark Financial Credit Union has got a really cool program for your kids because you want them to grow up and be financially responsible adults so they're not hitting you up for money when they get older. So if you got kids, TrueMark's got the ultimate playbook for teaching responsibility with a free Greenlight account. Comes with the Greenlight app, which is pretty cool, helping kids and teens learn how to earn, save, and spend wisely. They can set up savings goals, track their spending, and you can even distribute the allowance all right there throughout the app. And here's the cool part. Each kid gets their own debit card, so they can go out in the world, make their own purchases, feel like mini adults, learn some money skills while you stay in control of everything from your phone with the app. You get peace of mind, and they get the freedom to make smart decisions with their money, which is super important. It's like coaching your kids through their very own financial game. And for TrueMark Financial members, this pretty cool program is totally free. So now's the perfect time to introduce your kids to the Greenlight program. Get signed up today. Visit TrueMark.com/Greenlight for more information. Kelly Body's probably stoked today.
Kelly! Oh, she was fired up.
And real quick, before we, Fran Duffy's about to come on, but real quick, guys, we are Super Bowl champions. And right here
Put
at
the camera on you, buddy.
PHLY,
Put the camera on you.
we've got the Super Bowl champion shirts.
Nice.
So make sure to get your shirt. There are some really awesome graphics in here, really cool looking shirts. Make sure you grab one of those. It's going to be a hot item. So really make sure you get one of them. And then on top of that, we have, I think it's about less than 36 hours right now. We're doing a Die Hard sale. You can get a Die Hard membership. You can get Fran Duffy. You can get Zach Berman, Bo Wulf, Charlie O'Connor, all the great writers that we have here at PHLY for only $48 on the year. But it's only going to be running for the next 36 hours. So please make sure that you grab that if you're not a diehard already.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do diehard wise, or that team does, our team
Yeah.
is impressive.
And now we're going to be gearing up to, the draft. So Fran Duffy stuff alone,
No,
that
Franny,
$48.
Let me tell you something.
Woo!
It's high quality entertainment, right? Like we love football, we love nerding out, we love the draft, all that stuff. What Franny does is incredible.
The draft thing he's going to have put together is ridiculous.
I think I'm going to go to the combine with him.
Oh, man, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I think I need to nerd out.
Sounds
I like
a good
that.
time.
That's pretty cool.
Let's go. Our man, he's fantastic. We're talking about doing yeoman's work. Fran Duffy, Leatherhead.
They do not crave food nor drink for nourishment, for they exist solely on the glow of the all 22 monitors. They are the Leatherheads, and he is Franny Films.
There he is, Films, Champs Films. Great job yesterday, all day yesterday, pregame, halftime, postgame. Franny, you killed it. You guys, you and Jamie and Vinny and Rich, you guys were fantastic yesterday.
I appreciate it, man. It was a lot of fun yesterday. Obviously, they gave us plenty to talk about by the time we got to post game. But look, this was just a complete dismantling of a dynasty. You look at what the Eagles did defensively to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid in that group. I'm still going through the defensive film now. I'm going to try and have a piece up later today, if not tomorrow morning, over on allphly.com. So make sure you're a diehard. You can go check that out. Just looking at some of the top takeaways from the film. But just, again, a complete dismantling of one of the best offenses we've seen in modern history.
Yeah, and let's talk about it because it was funny. I made mention of the box score, right? So if you looked at the box score at halftime, Dotson's your leading receiver. Barkley is stopped, right? Like you look around, you go, wait a second, and they're up 24. Like what? Like it was incredible, and it all goes back to a dominating performance that I have not seen since the '85 Bears.
Yeah, and the reason why you're up 24-0 at half, to your mention, when the offensive box score looks the way it does, is you get those 2 turnovers. Obviously, a pick 6 from Cooper DeJean puts 7 on the board, and then you get the Zach Bond interception. That gets you another 7 on the board with the A.J. Brown touchdown shortly thereafter, right? So really quickly, you're able to turn. That's a 14-point swing there in the Eagles' favor. The fact that they were able to win, this is what we've talked about with Jalen Hurts in this past game, really all season long, has been, all right, look, at some point, another team is going to be able to shut down the run game. You're going to get into the playoffs. You're going to go up against good defenses, good defensive coordinators, those specific one-week type of game plans. We were worried about the efficiency in the pass game, not necessarily the volume, but will they be able to answer the bell when their number's called? Will they be able to step up and make those plays? The last 2 weeks, Jalen Hurts absolutely answered the call. He's a big gamer that has consistently shown up in these big moments. All the credit to him. Obviously goes out and wins the MVP. Was extremely efficient last night. He was so much more aggressive the last 2 weeks compared to what we had seen in the weeks leading up. And just an outstanding performance from this offense, and taking advantage when they had the opportunity on the outside.
Yeah, let's examine further this defense, all right, and what they did. Because, again, throughout this whole run, this 4-0 run, they have created turnovers. They have feasted. They have given the offense the great field position. They have supported the offense when the offense struggled at times against Green Bay, at times against the Rams. They came up big every time. Let's not forget, that Rams game was in great peril, right? If not for a couple of huge plays, punch out by Jalen Carter, Kyron Williams. Obviously, at the end of the game against Stafford, like in the middle of all those Barkley home runs, it was the defense that propped them up.
Yeah, and it starts. Look, you can in each game you can you could point to like specific guys stepping up and making big moments. It was never just, this one guy carried them through the postseason, right? You mentioned like Jalen Carter's punch out. We saw Zach Bond coming up with big plays, Reed Blankenship, Cooper DeJean getting the pick six last night, Quinyon Mitchell getting a game-sealing interception. We've seen all these guys step up in specific moments. Darius Slay against the Rams had a great game, right? And you just go right down the list, and all these guys continue to show up in these big moments. And to me, that's one of the things that stands out about this group is that you had all these guys show up, when their numbers were called. Look, you're going to get those one-on-one plays. It's the Bill Belichick, do your job. It's the Herm Edwards, you got to win your one-on-one, right? It's all of those classic axioms that we always hear when it comes to defensive football. And it really came to roost when you look at this Eagles defense over the course of the entire season, the way that they performed consistently week after week after week. I mean, just a truly dominant unit. And look, who knows what this group's going to look like next year, right? We know that there's going to be some turnover, almost certainly. Defensive success in the NFL, it's proven over the years that it's very hard to maintain that high level of productivity. It's very hard to do that. So you don't know what this group's going to look like a year from now. But to see what this group looked like in year one with Vic Fangio, while having the youngest defense in football, right? Like, again, like the guys you're probably going to lose, they're on the older side of that ledger, right? So you still have all of this young talent coming back. You're probably going to add to that over the course of the draft. So make sure you're checking out our draft database if you're a diehard, see who some of that talent is in this group. But you're adding to that group. It's just the sky's the limit for what they can do here in the near future.
So, it's funny you bring this up. And you're right about, sustaining defense. But normally you're talking about teams that are veteran laden, and you just said it.
Yep.
Right? Like you just said it. First of all, it starts up front. And the fact that Carter is going to be entering only his third year is just scary for the league. What he did yesterday against double and triple teams, I mean, you're going over the film. I haven't looked at it. You're going over the film. He got doubled and tripled, and I could just off watching it, he still got pressure. It's unbelievable. He allowed everybody else to have free reign. He was, again, Mahomes was freaked, absolutely freaked. He had nowhere to go, nowhere to breathe. He's trying to do his pirouettes. He can't do anything. He can't get free. I never saw Mahomes with that kind of like happy feet.
Yeah, they did such a good job of it was multi-layered, right? Because you had some instances where the pressure was able to get home quick, and it often was with power. You saw Jalix Hunt and Josh Sweat and Nolan Smith all use those like long arm, powerful bull rushes to push the tackles and constrict the pocket and really kind of get Patrick Mahomes off of his spot. All while the guys inside, Jalen Carter, even Milton Williams, those guys were getting doubled often throughout the course of that. We're saying we're going to try and leave our tackles on an island. Maybe we'll have the tight end, Travis. The first sack that Josh Sweat had, Travis Kelce's one-on-one with him, and Kelce's laid off the ball, and Sweat just blows by him. Another time, they're trying to chip with the running back on Sweat, and the running back chips him into the opposite gap, and then Sweat is able to get home for the sack. So they were trying to say, all right, we're gonna try and keep our tackles alone and on an island against these guys, and if not, if anything, we're gonna give them help, with a chipper. But they just could not win those one-on-ones. There were so many times, like Jordan Davis, his sack, he's the one-on-one guy. Moro Ojima, you know what? He's gonna get home on a play and force him off a spot. He was the only one that was truly one-on-one on those plays. Jalix Hunt, he's one-on-one. He gets home for a sack on Joe Thuney. And so again, it just kind of goes back to like this theme with this defense is that, you know what, if these guys are going to get, if Jalen Carter is going to get extra attention, then everybody else, you have to take turns stepping up. And in this game, there was no better example of seeing that because they all took turns teeing off against this offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, and then so to get back to our original point, you got Carter entering year 3. You got Jordan Davis, who I still hold out hope that he could be a quality role player. I mean, he flashed a couple times last night.
Nolan Smith.
I was about to say Nolan Smith. I mean, he is turned into an absolute force off the edge. I like Hunt, man. I like Hunt a lot. Well, I think he's going to be a player. I think you're going to re-sign Bond. I think you have to re-sign Bond. I think they will. And then you got, the young backers and then the young secondary. I mean, Look at that defense. All of its dominant players are young, other than, a couple of the secondary pieces like Slay.
Yeah, and that's what when you look at this group and you say, all right, like even if there is turnover, and maybe look, they were the number one defense in basically like every category this year, all the categories that matter. Maybe they're the eighth best, and that will have an impact, right? You will feel that in the standings if they drop, but it's still going to be a really strong unit. It would really surprise me if healthy, if this group were not in the upper echelon of defenses here next season. And then again, you still have your offensive skill talent completely locked up. Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. You have that core intact here for the next couple of years, and so there's no reason why this team can't gear up to try and make another run in 2025. But no, this group has been such a joy defensively. Has been such a joy to study every single week this season, and I'm excited to see what year. Again, like when you have a defense like Vic Fangio's, typically this is what we talked about in the summer. Was that like year one, typically the theme with Vic Fangio's defenses is that it's like an up and down, kind of like a shaky year one, and then they make that next step when they get to year two. For them to come out and look this way out of the box in 2024, what does that mean for next year when you get like a year two with DeJean and year two with those safeties, right? Those guys all working together. Zach Bond, like that core of that defense, because that's what is so important. What really makes a defense like that go is what the spine looks like, what the linebackers and safeties and nickel corner, because those guys have to deal with all the moving parts offensively. They're passing off routes to the corner. They're making sure that guys are picking up the slack elsewhere. You need all of those guys to basically work on a string and work in tandem together. And so to have that group come back next year, I anticipate that Zach Bond will be back, like you said. To have that group basically intact, that's going to be huge for this defense.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you look at on offense, and you brought the skill guys, and who are intact, but you still have, that line. Becton will probably be gone, but the other four will be back. Lane's the only one that's older in that sense, and he's still the best right tackle in football. Right, and I think he'll play another couple of years, and then you got youth in the other three spots.
Yeah, and it goes to me. We talked about this in the postgame show last night. One of the core philosophies of this organization. It starts with Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, and it goes right down through everybody. Is that you win this game on the line of scrimmage? The Eagles won last night on the line of scrimmage. We talked about how the defensive line just completely dominated Kansas City. They could not block them up front. And then when you look at that offensive line and the time that was afforded to Jalen Hurts on so many of those big plays, we talked about the inconsistencies in the pass game. And, everyone, the fans will always bring up, he holds on to the ball too long. He holds on to the ball too long. Last night was the third longest average time to throw for Jalen Hurts this season. He held the ball for a long, long time. It's not about holding the ball long. That alone is not a bad thing. All those other guys, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, the MVP, Josh Allen, all those guys are all up high on that list on how long they hold on to the football. It's what you do with it when you hold on to the ball that long. That's what determines, if you're gonna able to create those big plays. And I thought in this game, you saw Jalen Hurts show that he was, I'm gonna get the ball to open receivers. I'm not gonna force it. I'm not just gonna settle for like the 2-yard dump off on those plays where they're extended. You saw him attack down the field. We saw the big plays to Devontae Smith and Jahan Dotson and AJ Brown. Take advantage of those one-on-ones. If they're gonna try and sell out and stop the run and stop Saquon Barkley, you've got to be able to make them pay. And if they're going to try and blitz, you've got to be able to create. We saw everything from Jalen Hurts in that game.
Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I thought he was fantastic. He really was. He played that consummate, Magic Johnson point guard, right? Like that, did everything you needed him to do and then some, right? Like you got to run that offense. He ran that offense, man. He was terrific.
Yeah, no doubt.
Can I ask you guys? Because Spags was successful in stopping Barkley, and he also earlier in the year, I think the first game of the season, they were successful against Derrick Henry, holding him to like 46 yards. But in that game, also the quarterback, I think Lamar ran for $120, and Jalen runs for 75. What is it on the defense that they can stop the running back, but it makes the quarterback susceptible to having big games against them?
Yeah,
Well,
I think that for
still,
me,
pick your poison.
that was the only 100-yard rusher they allowed all season was Lamar Jackson back in week
Right.
1. And I think when you look at the way, and look, I'm going to go through the offensive film, honestly, when we're done. I'm just about done the defensive tape. So I'm going to go back through and start watching the offense now. But to me, what it looked like last night was that it was just it became a numbers game where they're gonna throw numbers, throw bodies at the run game and say we are going to just count on our guys to hold up just enough on the outside one-on-one, and Jalen Hurts pass game, you're gonna beat us. That we are not gonna die from Saquon Barkley here in this football game, and that was what they sold out to do. Now, if you are going to load the box defensively, Greg, the big thing to combat that, when you have a mobile quarterback, that's the equalizer. That's how you get a number back in your favor, is because they're not, you can't account for the quarterback in that way unless you're going to bring 2 extra bodies into the down close to the line of scrimmage, which that's just so difficult to do on an every down basis, especially when you've got AJ and Devontae and Dallas. When you have all of those weapons on the perimeter, you can't completely sell out in that way. And so, yeah, I think that if a team is going to load the box, we said this, when Jalen got hurt in the postseason, when he had that knee injury that he was dealing with coming in, it was like, all right, well, if teams are going to try and sell out on the run, if they don't have that QB run element, that does take some teeth away from this rushing attack. But in a 1-game sample like you had last night, Jalen was able to make them pay both by design and outside of structure with those scrambles in key situations.
Yeah, you saw that there was nowhere to run.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just a box number, and he plays that 4-4, so it wasn't like you can. It was different than what Pittsburgh did, right? And if you could see what Spags did. Now, I don't know about you, Franny, but that's actually how you have to play the Eagles. Like, I thought, this sounds weird, but I actually thought he had the right idea of how you play them.
Yeah.
And you got to force, look, because Jalen made some great runs, like lost into those runs. Only one was easy, right? Those other couple scrambles were, a couple runs were, he had to make moves. Like, he had to do a couple things. He was decisive there, but again, he took away a lot. Right? I mean, that Barkley thing. Now, the one thing, I don't know about you, Franny, I would have done more is Barkley, the pass game down the field.
Yeah, we saw him used. He caught a bunch of passes, so Jalen understood, like, all right, like this is someone that we can activate in this game if they're going to blitz the way that we expect them to, and so he had a handful of catches in this one, Saquon. But we didn't really see him used vertically. Honestly, like, we saw that wheel route in week 1 down in Brazil against the Packers, and then we didn't really see too much else from Barkley deep down the field over the course of the season. So I do wonder if that's an element in the playbook that could get tapped into a little bit more often here next year.
Yeah, like in the first half, I would have went to him down the field a little bit. I thought there was a matchup deal, especially if you're going to play it like that. I think there's a way to capitalize. But they played a perfect game, Fran. They were dominant. They're the champs. Great stuff, buddy. You're killing it, brother. Killing it. I know you'll be able to rest in May. All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a look. 2 weeks from now, I'm gonna be I'll be at the airport 2 weeks from now, going out to Indy for the combine. So I'm gonna try and watch as much college tape as possible here. Try and cram as many of these underclassmen that I haven't gotten to yet. And what's cool about the draft database, guys, like I watched a few players yesterday. Every time I watch a player, and every time I add notes to a player, I am again, basically I'm adding those notes in. They go to the database right away. That's how we have this thing set up. So as I'm watching new guys, if you're tapped into the database, you've got access to all my notes, all my evaluations, all my rankings of players. And so we've got a lot of stuff coming here in the coming weeks on allphly.com. Take advantage of that discounted deal on being a diehard that Andrew mentioned just before I came on. You're not going to be able to beat that value. So if you haven't taken advantage yet, now's the time. Now that the Eagles have won the Super Bowl, you're looking ahead. Make sure you take advantage of that deal.
Franny, how many players do you end up breaking down or making notes on?
Over the course of a typical year, VG, I would say like I'm north of 200, usually around like 225, 230. I would say I should get above that this year just because of trying to do as many as I can. So we'll see. We'll see where I'm at. But right now I'm at just about 175 if memory serves. So my guess is we'll get north of that number here by the time we get to late April.
My brother, great stuff, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Fran Duffy, Franny Films. All right. Coming up, what a treat. All right. Coming up, we got to take care of some business. And then we're going to go to our man who called this thing. All right. He said it.
He said it when everyone was saying, oh, he's going to have to throw at some point. It's not going to be able to happen.
Listen, he said this when everybody was all in love with the Lions. The Lions were coming off of the Minnesota destruction, right? So the Lions were back in vogue. Lions were getting healthy. People were talking about the Packers. People were talking about Jaden Daniels and the Commanders, right? They were all about the Ravens, the Bills, the Chiefs. But this man, and he said it matter-of-factly too, without great fanfare, without any kind of fandom, even though he lives in the area, he's just a fan of the game. He is Baldy. And he is 4-0 Baldy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. He's my
At
hero.
some point, you need to go get, he's everybody's hero. Every man's hero is Baldy. You got to get,
Every man.
you
He is
should
a
have
hero.
a thing. I'm Baldy, and I'm every man's hero. All right?
Should
That's
make
what
a
he
shirt, man. That's a great shirt.
With just a picture of him,
Yeah.
right? Of his face. Every man's hero.
I love that.
In fact, I might work on that with our man Eric from All City. All right.
Get a licensing deal with Baldy, though. He might be tough. Put his
All right,
face
so
on
we'll
something.
put it on. No, forget about that. We'll put it on his
Baldy Breakdowns.
Yeah, on the BaldyBreakdowns.com. All right. We got to take care of some business. Then we'll go to Baldy. Cannot wait. I had him like, dude. He's like, I don't know if I'm through. If I'm going to be able to get through the game, because you know him. He's breaking down and breakdown heaven, the original, film man.
Mm-hmm.
I said, dude, forget about X and O's. We'll do that Tuesday. Let's just celebrate. And you're just, off of your eye test. Let's go and talk about Ace, the helpful place.
Yeah, well, home repairs stink. They're stressful. No one likes to do it. It's hard to find reputable people. People say they got people, but you don't know. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. It always works out with Ace Hardware Home Services. So if you got heating issues, cooling issues, plumbing issues, anything going on in the house, Ace Hardware Home Services, they got the people to fix it. They're right in your neighborhood. They do it right the first time. They're trusted, seasoned pros. And, you can just relax. They're Ace Hardware. They're bringing the helpful folks. They're bringing the helpful hardware folks to your home, to your front door with Ace Hardware Home Services. You can go to acehardwarehomeservices.com to get started on your next home project.
All right, that's it. Ace is the place for the helpful hardware, folks. All right, let's talk about Parks Casino, boys. Parks Casino, our casino of choice. So obviously, so much fun. Parks Casino, all the stuff they got going on, all of the acts at the Excite Center, the fabulous Excite Center. Here you go. Here's what's happening. Make sure you go to Parks Casino this 2025. Concerts, comedy, MMA, boxing, state-of-the-art Excite Center is there. Plus, you get thousands of slots, live table games, a state-of-the-art sports book, beautiful poker room, collection of award-winning restaurants. Parks Casino, this is how you win. Just announced June 27th, comedian Trevor Wallace. Plus, March 7th, Scotty McCreery from American Idol.
Just give me 5 more minutes.
March 8th, magician Michael Carbonaro, Carbonaro Effect.
Hey, pick a number between 1 and 37.
March 22nd, country star Lee Bryce.
There's a rumor going around about me and you. Gonna be on the Parkway on Friday with a beer or two.
Great ad.
Oh, that's great. Hey, May 16th, comedian Larry the Cable Guy.
Get her done in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Yeah, there you go. Don't forget dinner and drinks before the show. ParksCasino.com to buy tickets for all shows. Parks Casino, this is how you win.
Hey,
Street Road, Ben Salem.
Real quick, before we go to
By the way,
Baldy,
you got to be 21. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Parks Casino, this is how you win.
With your head, not over it.
before we go to Baldy, I actually have the clip of Baldy talking about going 4-0 that I wanted to play before he comes on.
I love it.
So
All right.
I'm gonna rip it on here
All
real
right,
quick.
so let's do the clip and then the intro, and then we'll bring them on.
To go 4-0, to be honest with you. I like the Eagles against everybody they match up against.
Whoa.
Wait a second.
Whoa.
Wait a second. So you like the Eagles to go 4-0 in the playoffs?
I told this to Kelsey the other night when I was talking to him about it. You know, and I saw Stout was there with Kelsey Lane. I'm like, you got to go 4-0. I mean, it's pretty simple. Just go 4-0 right now. Take the week off like they did. Get healthy, get rested, and go 4-0.
So you like him against Tampa?
I like him against everybody.
You like him in Detroit?
Yes.
And you like him
I mean,
against...
I don't like Detroit's defense a little bit. I don't like him a little bit.
Baldy's predicting the Super Bowl right now.
Baldy's predicting a parade!
I love it.
I'm just saying it's a
parade! Baldy!
Baldy, Baldy. Oh, let's talk some football. Ay, Baldy, Baldy. Oh, he likes meats and football. Oh, Baldy.
There he is!
Oh, dude, I gotta.
Yeah! Bow down, bow down. Yeah!
morning, guys. Morning.
Morning.
We played
How's
that
it feel?
clip. We played it. We've
Yeah.
been talking about it. We talked about your words. And what always stood out was just how matter of fact you said it. Like, they're the better team. That's that.
Yes. Well, that's honestly, because like every single season is it's just this winding road, and no team starts week 1 and is the same team in week 18. They're just not. They got to go through some adversity. Every team does, good or bad. You got to overcome some injuries. Every team does. You just got to figure out who you are and what you want to be. And after you watch 18 weeks and you get to Sunday night, January 5th, and the playoff seedings come out of the 14 teams, and you just look at it, you go, all right, I've watched all 18 weeks. I've watched every game, every team. At some point, you just go, I know what I'm looking at. I know what I see. I see a dominant defense. Now I didn't know they were going to take the ball away 13 times in 4 postseason games. That's going to help your chances. Ridiculous. And you're going to get a couple of pick sixes and the things that they did. But I thought this was the best team. This is the best offensive line. This is the best overall talent in the league. I couldn't find a weakness on the team. If they wanted to say Jalen Hurts is a weakness, fine. But I kind of have a much better feel about Jalen than most teams do, and most people do. I mean, he threw the ball 22 times yesterday, just like he had been doing on his 14-0 run on games that he started and finished since the bye week. So I was matter of fact about it because that's exactly what I believed.
I mean, it was spot on. And the performance last night, Baldy, bring into historical perspective, the 85 Bears dominated Tony Eason and the Patriots.
Yes.
Seattle dominated Peyton, who was older
Yep.
at the time.
Yep.
This was
The
Patrick
Ravens dominated the Giants in Tampa.
Right.
Yes. I mean, those 3 games stand
Brad
out.
Johnson was the quarterback. This was the Eagles dominating Patrick Mahomes in his prime.
Yes. And a team going for a 3-peat, and a team that basically lost 1 game all year. This might be the most dominant, and you look up in the third quarter with 34 seconds to go. in the third quarter, and it's 34-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the first half, they had 20 plays. They didn't gain 40 yards. It was every bit as dominant as any of those three teams you just mentioned.
And here's the thing: it was amazing, right? You start to look. Because I remember at halftime looking and looking at the box score, going, "Wow, it's amazing." Dotson is their leading receiver.
Yeah.
Barkley's getting stoned, right? And you go, "Oh my God!" Like it's such a dominating performance from that defense that directly leads to two of the scores with the pick six and the one that you got right in the red zone. Like that was Mahomes never looks like he's pirouetting. He's looking like he's got happy feet. When do you ever see Mahomes and Andy sitting there dumbfounded with no answers?
Not just that, which is really incredible for Andy not to have answers. And he's writing all his notes down on his play sheet and the whole thing. I saw Mahomes last night for the first time sacking himself, like walking right into sacks. He has got the greatest pocket awareness of any quarterback, maybe beside Brady, of all time. And here he is sacking himself. He had no trust. And it's not like Vic blitzed once. In fact, when the video comes in, I think I'm going to show that it was a front four rush on every single pass that Mahomes attempted, which was 38 dropbacks last night. I don't think they blitzed once. It was a four-man rush. And they screamed off the edge Josh Sweat, Jalix Hunt, Nolan Smith. I mean, every guy that they threw in there last night was effective. And Mahomes looked like he'd never seen a four-man rush that had a little bit of heat on it. Like it was so dominant. And then, when you looked at this defense, we talked about Cooper, we talked about Quinyon, we talked about there was no weakness in the addition of Zach Bond. There was no weakness in this defense. And so it showed up, for the first three quarters last night. And they could have been celebrating there, after 45 minutes. Yeah, they get the touchdown to Worthy, whatever. But it was just, I hadn't seen anything like it. I thought they'd play well defensively. I could never have predicted that kind of performance.
Baldy, the Chiefs and Mahomes throughout the season, they're never out of games. When did you know it was over?
Well, they couldn't get a first down. You can't get a first down. It's over. Like they couldn't put a drive. They couldn't convert a third down. They weren't even close to converting a third down. Even the throws to Kelsey were so far off. They didn't look like it was an easy play to be made. They ran the ball 3 times for 3 yards in the first half. They didn't feel like they could run the ball. So they dropped back and threw it. They couldn't convert a third down. I felt like it was just, and probably Cooper DeJean's pick six probably put that game on ice for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what Bo said. The sidelines of the Chiefs kind of felt like.
Yeah, we had the NFL Films guy was on the Chiefs sidelines and said after the Cooper pick, it was like they knew it. Like you could see they knew it, and you could see Andy. He early looked worried, right? And you could see his face going, like, how do you? There's no answers. You can't scheme that kind of protection when it's jailbreak for 4. What do you can't do anything, and you can't do anything. How about Carter? Double, triple. He's still getting pressure. He's still getting pushed, and he's opening up everything for everybody else on that line.
He is. He's on an ascendant. He's ascending in the second year, like very few players have. If you want to start, I'm not going to start talking about Aaron Donald. There's only been one that we've seen, but he has tools that Aaron never had.
No.
Now, Aaron was an elite pass rusher, and he was an escape artist. But nobody that's playing in today's game has his kind of power. And his kind of violence. That's what I love about him. I don't care that he's hitting Mahomes in the face. I don't care that he's taking Tyler Biadasz and knocking him out with a Tyson punch. I don't care. And if he gets penalized for it, I don't care.
So what?
Like that guy plays with a sense of violence. And the thing is, like he's got the knife in his hand and a smile on his face. It's fun for him.
Yeah.
That's what he enjoys.
Yeah.
And you just don't see that level of violence being displayed in this league. They kind of stripped it from this league, But even yesterday, I saw him take a shot at Trey Smith. Like just a, nobody caught it. Trey Smith tried to bounce back. Trey Smith's a beast, but he doesn't back down from anybody. And he sets the tone, I think, for that whole defense.
He does. I mean, they're just so strong, too, up the middle, man. With Bond. How about the game Bond played? And then Cooper.
Every game.
Oh.
I've never seen a more consistent linebacker in this business. I mean, you go back to Luke Kuechly and, you go through the list of all the guys. He's as good as anybody that's played this game. I mean, anybody at that position. You go Fred Warner, you go Roquan Smith, pick a guy. And you tell me if anybody's been better than Zach Bond in 21 games. Like, that guy plays every snap. He played all but one snap last night. He plays every snap. He fills up the stat sheet like nobody else. The guy's an amazing, amazing player.
He is. He's tremendous. Like, that defense, I think back to it, I go, not for nothing, but what Spags did on defense was right. Like, he went and he took away Barkley and forced everybody else to try to make plays. And the defense put the Eagles offense in great field position and tilted the field. And that's the game, man. And that's, again, I love defense. And so when that kind of performance had me geeked out, man. They just flew to the ball. They tackled.
Well, the thing that, in today's game, like tackling makes you nauseous. The way teams tackle, it just does. Teams don't wrap up. Teams just throw their bodies in there. They don't leverage ball carriers. They don't smack you when they get a chance to smack you. Like, this is old school. Like, if Buddy Ryan was around, he would champion this defense the way Reggie and Seth and Clyde and the guys, Eric Allen, like those guys, every one of those guys, Andre Waters, like they would love the way this defense plays. I mean, if Concrete Chuck came back and was on the sideline, he'd be leading the cheers the way this defense played. Every single guy in Philadelphia history that was a great defensive player would love the way this team plays defense.
And in many ways, they're a Philadelphia football dream, right? We love defense in this town. We love a great running back. We love a quarterback who's not, all about himself, right? Like,
never. That guy never is doing this.
Right.
That quarterback never does that. No, I mean, I don't know how he stays that cool. I really don't. I don't know how he just eliminates emotion, even in the post-game stuff that, they're asking questions and like he hears everything. he uses it as fuel. He never misspeaks. The guy and everybody said, okay, if you want to go do everything you can to take Saquon away, can Jalen go beat you? And he beat you. Even the interception was better than any punt. It was 3rd and 10, whatever. Like the interception, all right, his second in the last 15 weeks. But even the interception, they get the ball to 2-yard line. I mean, it's actually way better than a punt because they ended up getting great field position.
Well, it was interesting about the afterwards. He huddled with. I haven't seen this a lot. That he huddled with his O-line, and they had the iPad out, and they were going over the protections.
Yeah. Well, you always want the quarterback to be, hanging with your offensive line. I've seen, when Jalen wants to really work out, he goes over to Lane Johnson's house.
Yeah.
And that's where he does his heavy lifting because they don't really, I don't think they're crazy about him doing his deadlifts or whatnot. But I mean, look, they perfected the tush push. They'll probably change the rule now that the Eagles won a Super Bowl. They'll probably take the play out. But nobody else perfected it like Jalen did in this Eagles offense. There's a way to actually, there's a reason why and I might break it down today, but there's a reason why they're so good at it. And a lot of it, you watch Buffalo try to do it when they couldn't make a 4th and 1. Their linemen are literally leaving their feet. You watch Mekhi Becton, Lane, Malata, those guys never leave their feet. Their feet are in the earth. They're gaining inch by inch by inch. Like as soon as the knee hits the ground, your power's over.
Yeah.
Like they understand the tech. And And believe me, Stout is hard on him about it, really hard. And so there's a reason why. And yes, Jalen is strong as any quarterback in this business, and he does. They do push from behind really good. But they perfected that play. The offensive line protection yesterday was phenomenal. Again, even when Mackay went out and Steen went in, I mean, Chris Jones had nothing to do in this game. I got to see Chris Jones go over Lane Johnson one time last night, and Lane Johnson went short set on him and stoned him. He didn't get off the ball on him. The guy's the best offensive lineman since Anthony Munoz, man. He's in the league all by himself.
Last thing, and we'll dive deeper into it once you watch the film and the whole thing.
Thanks, Coach.
But
Thanks, Coach.
I wanted to just celebrate with you because you called it, man. You called it. But last thing, Sirianni, right? Like we've gone, 25 minutes just BSing.
Yeah.
And what do you make of Sirianni and what the job he did? Put that in perspective from a football standpoint.
Well, the first thing is they did address the collapse last year by changing coaches.
Right.
They didn't want to lose Vic Fangio last year. He went to Miami. They had him in the building the year before. They knew what he's about. You go get Kellen Moore. He's the head coach in New Orleans. Like, you go get Clint Hurt to coach your defensive line. Every one of those guys improved. Nolan Smith is a star, right? Jalix Hunt coming out of what? Houston Christian? Like, you watched that guy play last night. That guy's going to be a great player.
He is.
You probably lose. Josh Sweat is a better player today than he ever was. So you see player improvement. That's number one. But for however Nick does it, and I know he's kind of a clown sometimes, and I understand all the stuff, the antics, whatever. That guy's got the pulse of his team. They respond to him. And he really doesn't care what the noise is. There's always going to be noisy in Philly, but the outside noise from the national media, whatever, like he honestly does. The team responds to Nick. They just do. And they've won more games than anybody over the last 4 years. Or close to it. And he took over a 4-11-1 team and had them in the playoffs, and they're doing it with a quarterback that was the 53rd pick in the draft, and he's the MVP. What I love about Nick's team is I see player improvement. Like how he can go get all these guys, he can draft all these guys, but and however they do it, because you go to practice, honestly, he's pretty player friendly, but you're seeing player improvement. Obviously, stout. But this defensive line, everybody improved. The secondary played airtight football. I love the fact that you see player development under Nick.
Hey, Baldy, you're a handsome guy. You put out a picture this week. You've never, ever, ever looked better than the photo you put out
when
over
he
the
put
weekend.
his old uniform on.
He got the old green and white on.
I just pulled that one out of the oh yeah. I felt it. I just thought, you wear the wings, you play for the Eagles, there's a reason why you set up shop in Philly, South Jersey. Like you're a sports guy, you're a football guy, you want to be in a football town. I could have easily moved to California, to Florida. I like Florida, but honestly, I wanted to build my brand in a Philadelphia Eagles town. And I just thought that's the way to show the respect. I mean, I know it's Kelsey's number. I want to take anything away from Jason, but somebody else wore that number before Jason. I just wanted to show my respect for all the Philly fans out there this week because honestly, it's the only reason why I stayed was the fans and the Eagles. And there's no team that means more to their city. And that's Pittsburgh, that's Buffalo, that's any great football town. There's no team that means more to their city than the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's why I stayed. That's why Jaws stayed. That's why we all stayed. We felt that connection.
We're glad you're here.
Baldy!
Again,
Baldy!
man. Props to Baldy.
The hero.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate everything, guys. That was a lot of fun. We'll break it down, though. I'm going to go. Honestly, I believe this. I have this. Literally, I couldn't sleep last night, and I knew the video was going to be slow. They're always slow getting out of the town, out of Super Bowl city. But I honestly don't believe the Eagles blitzed one time last night. And I don't think, another thing, I don't think they ran one stunt.
Yeah.
I think it was a straightforward. Remember a couple weeks ago, cuz I said that the way, because of the mobile quarterbacks, it's changing the way teams are rushing.
Yeah.
And I said you got to be a cage match.
Cage.
Cage match. And I honestly believe the Eagles know that too. And that's why Mahomes really couldn't escape last night.
No.
Like there was no escape routes. If you run a tackle or an end tackle stunt and they saw it off, there's an edge to go run. You know, and so if you run tackle and twist and you don't and you don't get home, there's an opening up the middle. And Mahomes feels that. And I felt like last night was steel cage match rushing. And I feel like that's what teams need to study. I think Clinton Hurt, the defense line coach, knows that. And I feel like if that's true, it's just a hypothesis. But if I'm right about it, I believe this is like the formula going forward in this business.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I remember you said it. I thought you were spot on with it. And you saw it. He could not get free. Mahomes is a magician. That's
He's a
what he
magician.
does, right? He gets free, but he put him in the cage instead of him being the lion tamer or the lion tamer. He was the lion, right?
Yeah.
He was the
Good way to
guy
put it.
being tamed.
Yeah.
I
hope
think
it's just a hypothesis.
Yeah.
I'll share it with you tomorrow, cause what I see.
I love it. We'll talk to you then.
Okay, buddy.
Great stuff,
Yep.
brother.
Yeah.
Baldy.
Hey, real quick, cause do they know when? Have they made the announcement for the parade yet?
Friday.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah.
Real good.
You
All right,
joining
buddy.
us? You coming out?
I could be on an island someplace on Friday.
I can see him with a
Come on,
drink.
let the fans pay homage to you. Come out to the Parkway.
He needs to celebrate.
Maybe
that
I'll
forward.
climb a light pole. Maybe I'll climb a light pole. Yeah. All right.
Love you, brother.
I'll see you guys, man. Enjoy.
The best, man. The best, Baldy. What a day. What a morning. What
Yeah.
a lot of fun, man.
Seriously.
This was great.
What a 2 weeks.
What a 5 weeks, right? Like this
Yeah.
whole thing, this whole run was just amazing.
I have this really cool video that Nike put out right after the Super Bowl. It was a Jalen Hurts commercial that they
Oh,
did.
yeah?
And the man is owed his respect
Yeah.
after that Super Bowl, and I just loved it. It's a video pretty much for the haters of Jalen Hurts, and I want to play it
All right.
for you guys.
You got it. My man Tasty Cake Dom will love this because he's huge. Never wavered on Jalen Tasty Cake Dom.
All right, here it is.
Hate that you said he wasn't a top 10 quarterback? Hate that you said he couldn't throw the ball? Hate that he got over when push came to shove? Hate that he always say the right thing?
Money is nice, championships are better.
Hate that in your all-knowing, armchair wisdom, you were sure he'd come up short. Hate that you got it wrong?
That's outrageous.
Powerful, man.
great.
Oh my God. I love TKO too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Love Hurts. That's fabulous.
It was right after
Who
the
voiced
game.
that?
I don't know.
I know the voice.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a
Dig into it.
That's a great commercial. I'm glad you played it.
Yeah,
man, that's fantastic. I know we're up against it. We got lots to do this week. Couple things. One, I want to hear all about your celebrations. Tomorrow, let's make tomorrow all about celebrations. What you did, how you celebrated. I was going to bring Joey on, but Joey looks like he's half asleep. He's been up all night.
He's fully
All right.
asleep.
I know. No, I know. I want to hear it. I want to hear about Broad Street. VG was on Broad Street. You were on Broad Street. Andrew, everybody partying. It was just one of those incredible.
Yeah. If you got videos, send them to Andrew.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, please.
Play them.
You
Yeah,
want
my-
to call
You and
up,
your house
you
or your
want to be
family,
on the
whatever.
show them. We'll do as many calls
That's cool. Yeah.
as we can this week. All right?
I believe tomorrow we also are live from Golden Nugget.
Oh, right. Yes.
So, if you want to come hang out, we'll be at
Even
Golden
better,
Nugget.
we come live with us. All right? So we'll be on 8th and Chestnut tomorrow.
Yeah, get those parade apology gifts.
All right. Yeah. Perfect stuff. What a night, man. What an incredible time.
You want to do a back
To
in the
be
day
in
real
Philadelphia.
quick? I mean, we're lazy because everyone was up late, but I think this is a do one that you'll enjoy, this back in the day.
Sure.
All right.
Right, a back in the day moment.
We're going back. We're going back. We're going back. Back in the day with Rite Aid. Yeah.
All right, going back to last night.
Yeah.
Our
Have to.
man Howie dancing.
Yeah.
Celebrating.
I like it.
Yeah, props
This is
to
how we
Howie.
do it, man. Props, brother. You put together an incredible roster. You deserve to dance.
Yep.
All right? We
No
all
doubt.
deserve to dance. We all deserve to enjoy this, man. Everybody. Champs! Champs! Super Bowl champs! Let that sink in. Talk to you tomorrow.
Real quick. One note. Philly show starts today, 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Just want to let
Be
everyone
there.
know.
All right. Champs. Love you guys.
We all silly like the mayor.